Hey, what's up everyone? I tried another screen recording a moment ago and it screwed up. It totally messed up and wouldn't let me do it. It shut me off early on the previous one and I had to end it quickly. So I'm just going to talk about something. They're claiming on all of the news, laughable, want to call it news. I'm going to be careful with my words. I'm going to be very careful because I've discovered the YouTube algorithms will restrict you from getting anywhere if you say certain words. So there was a poll. They claimed that a poll to the majority of Americans recently was done for impeachment. And they claim, oh, now suddenly the tables have turned, the majority of the people support it. I didn't get the poll. Did you get the poll? No, they didn't go out and send a poll in the mail to my parents. They didn't go out and send one to me. They didn't even put one on Google for me. When they did put one out, they wanted me to give my detailed information. It was on some site that I didn't even trust that popped up in an ad. When an ad pops up asking you to give your email, your home address, your information, and all of that, and vote and put which party you vote for, and do you support impeachment and all of that, I don't trust that. I don't trust it says ad.google.something. I don't trust something being given to me as an advertisement pop up on the phone from some app that just pops up. I don't trust that. So I'm not going to answer that kind of poll. I'm not going to answer that kind of a question. And they say the majority of Americans support impeachment. Did they poll you? When did they do this big poll? When did they do this big questionnaire? When did they do this big question to the Americans? Now, they're not going to mention the fact that if you looked at my previous video, and I get so sick of politics. I get so sick of all of this mess. I wanted to make a video like 4 seconds long saying, who's sick of politics? Thumbs up. And I think I still will. But, the question is, when did they poll us? They didn't. They never asked me. They didn't ask us. They didn't ask you, I'm sure. I'm sure they just asked the people they wanted to ask. And said, well, let's just spread that out and say that's the majority. So, that's like going to the smoking section of a restaurant and saying, let's poll these people in this part of the restaurant and see how many of them support smoking. It's going to be the majority, right? And then go to the non-smoking section like we would be in and be like, who supports no smoking in here? Well, that's going to be the majority of them, right? And then say, well, okay, let's spread that out. Let's say, well, we polled these people. We're going to say everyone else voted the same. You know, that's the kind of logic they're using. Let's go to the smoking section and see how many of them support smoking in a restaurant, and then we're going to say, okay, well, that's the majority. That's what they do when they want it to go their way, and without naming any particular type of party. But when did you get polled? I didn't. Mine was from an ad that wanted all my information, including my, and especially when they start asking your detailed information, forget about it. Nope. But anyway, a few days ago they did an electoral map. They said, let's do an early vote on the electoral college. And I just posted that in my previous video, and it was almost identical, if not identical, to the previous turnout. And he got like over 400 electoral votes this time. The electorals still voted for him. And they're proud because of the fact that he's kept the stock market up. And they said even Wall Street and the people in the stock market want him to be in there because of how good he's kept the market. They even stated, if you vote for Elizabeth Warren, they said if she's one of the primaries, if she's one of the primary winners on the Democratic side, they said then we're voting for him or we're not voting. That's what they stated. And that's what the people at Wall Street and the stock market and all that crap, which runs this entire everything, stated. But the fact is, everyone should have been polled. Every American should have had the chance to vote in that poll. It was a free poll. And every time I ever went to our local news station's poll, it would either say, oh, it's already been done, or it would mess up. And say that you've encountered an error. Error 404. So, they don't want you to vote. here's the thing. I looked at a map a couple of days ago. Actually, I took a screenshot of it days ago. That previous video I showed the, and I'm glad I took a screenshot. I wish I had kept the date. I wish I had kept the date. But the electoral map showing on September 19th, 2019, a preliminary vote done by the Electoral College shows the majority of the nation of electorals voted for President Trump this time. Again, that they would again. And they said, well, let's see what the primary vote of the electorals turned out this time. And they went, ooh. They were like, he's gonna win. So they just kind of, and they made a joke out of that on SNL and said, he gonna win again. And so they just dropped it. And then they all of a sudden started talking about impeachment again, and stated that they just brushed that under the rug. Then they all stated, well, the majority of Americans support impeachment, according to the current polls. They didn't ask me. I'm sure they didn't ask you. And I'm sure you heard my analogy earlier. That's what it's like. It's like going into one section of a store or a restaurant, go to the smoking section and ask them how many of you support smoking in a restaurant, and then leaving the ones that don't, leaving them out, and then saying, okay, let's see. All right, now let's multiply that out and say, I'm sure the majority supports it. To me, that's what that's like. But yeah, it showed almost all red in the recent votes of the Electoral College preliminary votes. They had them do a pre-vote, and the turnout was enormous, and it was huge. The turnout was huge, and you go on the street and you hear many people actually secretly do support the president, but they're afraid to say it because of the elite's hatred. I tried not to use key words in this video, but yeah, that's what they do. Sway it toward their way. Who? I'm going to let you figure that out yourself. I'm sure you already know. Peace. Signing out. I'm not able to screen record. I don't know what's wrong, but I just wish people would just come together and stop being so, I don't know, just whatever people are now, just stop being that way and just come together. Please, just, I mean, the stock market had been up, everything had been going relatively okay, and yes, I wish he had made those phone calls, I wish he had made those statements. I think he would have everything would have been thumbs up. I'm just going to give keywords. Everything would have been thumbs up for you-know-who had he not just made those phone calls to you-know-who. So, and stated certain statements and put the foot in the mouth type of thing. And, yeah, then he would have had it in the bag, according to preliminary reports. But where do these polls come from? Did they poll you? Did they poll me? I'm sure they didn't. No, they didn't. And did they mention that electoral voting that took place a couple of weeks ago, a few days ago, whenever, and majority was red? Nope. They didn't. Anyway, peace, signing out. Just thought I'd share this. Love you all, and no matter what side you're on, wherever you're at, whatever you feel, I love you all no matter what. I just wish people would just come together and stop acting so crazy and stupid. But I just thought it would be unfair that they didn't include me, they didn't include you, they didn't include us in that quote-unquote poll. So I want to be careful with my words and see how this video goes, since I said you-know-who called you-know-who and all that. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, peace. I'll put some hashtags below and see how that goes. Signing out.